Hyderabad taking on Chennai, and it's going to be a big one, particularly for Chennai. I know we keep saying it every time they step onto the field, but you reckon it's getting to that point, Harsha, when they basically need to win everything?
Almost everything, yes, almost everything. I mean, who would have thought that a team will qualify with 12 points, as a team did last year, which was very, very unusual. But just to prove to themselves that they're still good enough, I found Dhoni's statement after the last game very interesting, almost accepting that maybe it's not going to happen or maybe we're not good enough. He said, every time we try to plug one hole, another hole emerges. So how do we plug all those holes? And maybe he just looked around his camp. Maybe he's gone through the entire list of players and said, where is my turnaround artist coming from? Just as RCB said, my turnaround is coming from having ABD keep wickets and playing those destructive innings. Where is that coming from? They tried moving Jadhav, having someone else at 4. Maybe it'll come from having Jadeja bat right up the order, maybe. But he's got to make the most of it. He's got to get Faf du Plessis to continue playing well. He's got to hope that Watson does well. Or maybe as the tracks slow down, maybe get Imran Tahir. If he had another good opening batsman, then he would not have needed to play both Faf and Watson. Is Bravo on his last night, or is Bravo warming up? I don't know.
Since we were on the subject of music, when I did see that MSD quote, Joy, I was thinking of that Beatles song from the Sgt. Pepper album, Fixing a Hole. And I think MSD needs to be looking at that squad like we are right now and saying, I'm fixing a hole where the rain gets in. And where is he going to fix that hole from?
He's already used. Nah? Sorry, Joy. Yeah, he's already used Ruturaj. He's already used Murli Vijay. He's already used Kedar Jadhav. So if he wants a good, solid middle order option, then where is that coming from? That's why I said that the best thing they can do is go up to Delhi Capitals and say, you know what, you've got this guy who's just right for us. You're not playing him. Let's do a mid-season transfer. Get Ajinkya Rahane over to bat at number 3 and say, you're playing the next 8 games. Come on, next 7 games, go and play. But yeah, he's got to make the best of what he has. Maybe rejig the batting order. Maybe go himself at 3. Maybe send Jadeja up at 3 or 4. But he's got to jig around with that. Sorry, Joy.
No, absolutely. And if I was to do that, Delhi would ask, what is in it for us? You know what I'd tell them? I'd say, you know what? We have nothing else to give you. But here's a 40-year-old Imran Tahir, who's probably one of the finest leggies. You've just had Amit Mishra get injured and go out. This man could be rather useful to you towards the end of the tournament. Yeah. So
only problem is they already have Sandeep Lamichhane.
That's true, actually. They can't play Lamichhane. How are they going to play Tahir? And Lamichhane is the future in that sense. Yeah, then it's balanced. Then my point is, why should Delhi go for it? I love it for also. But yeah,
I mean, whether or not you're talking about a transfer, I really think they need to find a way to get Imran Tahir in. I mean, it's not about leg spin half the time for Tahir. It's just about the energy he infuses onto that field. I mean, no matter what the age.
I really think that if I have to, put the stake down and say, give a batsman 3-4 innings, I'd give it to Ruturaj Gaikwad, because Murli Vijay is clearly the past. And if you have to give it to someone, rather give it to somebody who's a young kid who will mature. Even if he doesn't perform, at least he's there. He's a younger player. He's going to get better and better. You've got another IPL in perhaps 6 months. I would rather give it to Ruturaj. The second thing is that if Raina is not in the squad and I've called him off and he's not in the team, I'm sure there are batsmen sitting in India who can come in and make a difference. There should be some, at least few decent batsmen out there. Even I'm saying, he'll leave our Cricbuzz commentary team, which will hurt me very much.
Manoj Tiwari?
Manoj Tiwari? I mean, Manoj Tiwari can go and make a difference out there. And Manoj Tiwari is a very, very good bowler, very, very good batsman on slow tracks. He's excellent on slow tracks because he uses his feet well, he judges it well. And again, he's another batsman who waits for the ball to come to him. And on these slow tracks, you cannot rush at the bowler. You've got to wait for it to come to you. He has that ability. He's played for them with Dhoni in Pune. Why not?
I've just got a message from our Hindi producer, Joy. They're not letting him go. That's the end of that. That's the end of that.
No mid-season transfers here either. No mid-season transfers here either.
Nope. If you're good here and you're having great conversations as we all have, we're keeping you. So sorry guys, Manoj Tiwari is not an option. But imagine if all three of us are having such an animated discussion, what's happening in that Chennai dressing room between MSD, Stephen Fleming, and all the other seniors. So a few thoughts to be put in there. Maybe not such a problem at the other end in the Orange Army, despite what happened in the last game. Yes, they'll be hurting after that loss to Rajasthan, but maybe it won't be hurting so much in terms of personnel, will it?
Look, the moment you play Bairstow, Warner and Williamson, you're taking away all your degrees of freedom from the end. So you can't play Nabi, who's an excellent player. I mean, on tracks like these, Nabi is a 4-over bank. He's going to give you 4 overs and give you runs in the middle. And that's a very inexperienced middle. So Nabi is perfect in that middle order. He can even bat at 5 or 6 if it comes to that. He can bat at that number. But you can't do that because there isn't somebody standing up. Who was that somebody who had to stand up? Was Vijay Shankar at 4. Vijay Shankar was 18 months ago number 4 for India in 50 overs. Vijay Shankar had to bat at 4. Then you get Nabi, Abhishek Sharma, all these guys down. So if Vijay Shankar can bat at 4, they can play Nabi.
But Harsha, that means you're suggesting that if Vijay Shankar were to stand up, you would sacrifice Kane Williamson.
For the purpose of balance, because they need that other spinner. Who are the spinners at the moment for Hyderabad? If you just look down that list again, look at who is the spin bowler. They tried Abdul Samad. He's not going to bowl again. Then who else did they try? So let's go down the list of players that they are playing. They've got Rashid Khan. Okay, that's one bank. Who's
so
the
only
second
Shahbaz
spinner?
Nadeem.
Yeah.
Only Shahbaz Nadeem they can pull out from there, who they got in the trade from Delhi. He's their only hope, and I think he'd be very useful towards the end of the tournament. But he's the only other bowler you see out there who's probably going to play a part in this from here on, because nobody else is looking the part. Siddharth Kaul is frankly this year just completely off, and I think Khalil is doing well. I think Natarajan is doing well for them, so let's not disturb them. Perhaps bringing Shahbaz Nadeem and see what can happen out here. But I still feel that any option that allows Nabi to play in the latter half of the tournament will be a huge option. So yeah, Vijay Shankar, and they paid a lot of money for him. Hyderabad is fairly parsimonious in its picks. So they paid money for him because they felt he could make a difference, and he needs to stand up and make a difference now.
I remember a few shows ago.
Nice word.
Parsimonious?
Yeah. Parsimonious. Yeah.
Okay, that's our word of the day then. We should actually have a word of the day every time we have a show. So if we're starting a trend from now, Joy, we're going to do that. That's parsimonious is the word of the day. But before we bring in your Joy Factor question, I remember a few shows ago and how things can change based on 1 or 2 innings. Sean Pollock was in the show, I think, and we said, how do we get, and they were also talking about Billy Stanlake or maybe even trying to get Nabi back in. And we said the only person we can get out is Jonny Bairstow because he wasn't looking great. Get in Srivas Goswami to keep up the order. Jonny Bairstow goes out. In comes Nabi or Billy Stanlake. That's been put to rest very quickly by the Yorkshireman. Absolutely. No, those guys are looking fantastic. You don't want to change them. And see, look at Warner's track record. You see what Warner and Bairstow have done in just 2 years. It is a fabulous record. It's not a record you want to tamper with. That's the kind of thing. It's like, having a Lasith Malinga and not giving him the ball. Those are things you do not change. It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, they have to look, I love Williamson, but I really hope if Vijay Shankar can stand up and be counted, it's going to make a difference. And Harsha, we can, the little people like us can be sort of hidden away somewhere in a dugout. But imagine this team has 2 people at 6'7" who are not making it in, Jason Holder and Billy Stanlake. You can't miss them there.
Call. No, that's a good call, because I was about to say, I'd forgotten Jason Holder is now available. I was about to say, who is that Andre Russell? Who is that Marcus Stoinis in there? Who'll say, I'll come into bat 5-6, I'll finish the innings and I'll give you 2-3 overs, 3 overs at least every game. I wonder if there's a case now to be made for someone like a Jason Holder. I mean, Holder bowls a good test match length, but maybe with a new ball, because he's also a very clever batsman. I saw him batting 4 in the CPL, which is a good sign because he's a good enough batsman. Yeah, that's another option too.